The woman is kneeling on the ground, cleaning up broken glass. She tried to wring out the mop with her hands, but the glass shards left her hands covered in cuts. Looking at the wounds on her hands, she suddenly had a bold idea. If she could invent a mop that could be wrung out without using hands, it would not only prevent cuts but also greatly reduce the workload of housework. With this idea, she successfully invented the magic mop and sold 50,000 of them in just 20 minutes. This transformed her from an ordinary housewife into a billionaire. She is Joy Mangano. This is a true story. Joy loved making things with her hands since she was a child. Her grandmother often encouraged her, but her parents' relationship was always rocky. In high school, Joy invented a dog collar with reflective strips. It not only repelled fleas but could also be quickly and easily unfastened. She hoped her mother would help her apply for a patent, but her mother, obsessed with soap operas, didn't care. In the end, someone else took the patent, and she missed a chance for success. During college, her parents started going through a divorce. After graduation, through a friend's introduction, she met the lead singer of a band. They fell in love at first sight and quickly got married. At the wedding, her father introduced his new girlfriend. Joy completed the wedding in tears. The unfortunate beginning foreshadowed a tragic start. After marriage, her husband pursued his dream of being a singer, earning no money and refusing to do any housework. With 2 kids, Joy was overwhelmed. They often argued. Unable to bear it any longer, Joy filed for divorce. After the divorce, her husband had nowhere to go and continued to stay at Joy's house, practicing singing in the basement all day. Her divorced father was dumped by his new girlfriend and came to Joy, asking for shelter. Joy had no choice but to arrange for him to stay in the basement. But her ex-husband and father couldn't stand each other and argued whenever they met. Her grandmother was getting old, and her mother was only interested in soap operas. A half-sister often spoke ill of Joy in front of her daughter. Everything at home depended on Joy alone. She was on the verge of collapse. That night, she had a strange dream. People were commemorating her childhood, and she couldn't understand what was happening. She felt further and further away from her dreams. Her father got a new wealthy girlfriend. The wealthy woman invited the whole family to her yacht. Due to the rocking waves, a wine glass shattered on the deck. And it was up to Joy to clean it up. While using a mop to clean the broken glass, her hands were cut by the shards. Looking at the wounds on her hands, Joy suddenly had a bold idea. He hurriedly picked up his daughter's paintbrush and started drawing on paper, sketching the prototype of a magic mop. Then, he went to his father's auto repair shop and used the equipment there to create the first magic mop. Just one mop head used 91 meters of pure cotton thread, making it more absorbent and durable. To start production, he needed funds. He thought of his father's wealthy girlfriend. The wealthy woman wanted to ask Joy 4 questions to see if she was worth investing in. Meanwhile, his sister was discouraging, saying she also had a project that needed investment. Fortunately, the wealthy woman was very satisfied with Joy's answers. They purchased parts from California and hired local elderly people, officially starting production. Everyone was busy in an orderly manner, and everything was developing well. At this time, she received a bill from the supplier. The other party wanted him to pay for the damaged mold. Joy believed it was the other party's mistake and shouldn't be his responsibility. However, this decision planted a huge hidden danger for him. Once produced, the product needed to be sold. Joy started promoting it in stores, but no one recognized his product. The mall manager told him they didn't want customers to spend 20 yuan on a mop that wouldn't wear out, but rather 5 yuan on 51 mops. The manager even advised Joy to stop thinking about unrealistic things and go back to take care of his family, suggesting he should just be a good housewife. With no other option, he had to personally promote it on the street. After finally attracting a few people, the mop still hadn't been sold when 2 city inspectors arrived. The inspectors confiscated all his mops. All of this was seen by his ex-husband. Maybe he wasn't a good husband, but he was definitely a good friend. The ex-husband suggested he change his sales model and then took Joy to meet his friend, who worked at a TV shopping company. After a demonstration and explanation, the station manager was very satisfied and hoped Joy could produce 50,000 mops by next week. Joy was completely stunned by this. The manager found the station's top salesperson, hoping he would promote this mop. The salesperson initially didn't approve of the product, but out of respect for the manager, he took on the task. The manager then took Joy backstage, where a jewelry necklace, praised by a celebrity, sold over 25,000 orders in just a few minutes. This gave Joy confidence. She went back to start preparing to produce another 50,000 mops. But this required 200,000 in funds. The first batch hadn't sold yet, and the wealthy woman was unwilling to invest more. To continue production, Joy mortgaged her house. A week later, the whole family sat in front of the TV, waiting for a miracle to happen. But fate always loves to play tricks. The salesman didn't know how to use the mop and even got his clothes wet, so he had to end the live broadcast hastily. As a result, not a single order was sold. Could 200,000 just go down the drain like that? Joey was not willing to give up. She approached the person in charge again, hoping for another chance. This time, she wanted to demonstrate herself. After all, she was the most familiar with her own product. The person in charge thought that if she stood in front of the camera, she would be so nervous that she'd freeze. In the end, Joey convinced her. She arranged for a stylish hairstyle and a fashionable outfit. But Joey felt very uncomfortable. She changed back into her own clothes. When the real live broadcast started, Joey was so nervous she couldn't speak. At this moment, her friend called. As a housewife, she asked questions, and in answering her friend's inquiries, Joey gradually relaxed. How crazy was live selling in the 90s? A woman was promoting her invented magic mop. In just 20 minutes of live broadcast, orders were close to 50,000 mops. She succeeded. Joey couldn't believe what she was seeing. This also made the person in charge see a huge business opportunity. After returning, they began to increase production. By the second live broadcast, he was very skilled. When the broadcast ended, the order numbers were approaching the 100,000 mark. Just as everything was moving in a positive direction, the grandmother who had always encouraged him passed away. At the funeral, his father told him even more heartbreaking news. The supplier suddenly raised the prices. This meant the mops would be sold at a loss. His father also sent his incompetent sister to handle it. She not only paid the fee for the damaged mold that Joey had refused to pay before but also agreed to their price increase and placed another order for 100,000. This would only lead to more losses. Joey was about to collapse. He went directly to the supplier to negotiate. Unexpectedly, the other party was extremely arrogant. Even talents are demanding higher prices, we have no choice. Joey took the opportunity to go to the restroom and found a small door leading to the workshop. There, he not only saw his product design drawings but also the patent application. It turned out the supplier wanted to force Joey to give up production by raising prices so they could take over his business. When the supplier discovered him, they called the police and had Joey arrested, accusing him of trespassing. After returning, Joey hired a lawyer. The lawyer told him that when his sister paid that money to the other party, the situation became irreversible. Now, Joey was left with nothing. Still owing 500,000 in debt, at this time, the wealthy woman wanted to withdraw her investment and forced Aunt Chow to sign a bankruptcy agreement. Aunt Chow had no choice but to agree reluctantly. She angrily threw down the mop and tore up all the manuscripts on the wall. Fortunately, she still didn't give up and cut off her long hair herself. She planned to start over, and by staying up all night reviewing thousands of documents, she finally discovered legal loopholes and some illegal activities of the supplier. Afterwards, she confidently walked down the street and met with the supplier's manager at a hotel. After a presentation, she left the manager speechless. It was then that the manager realized that the woman in front of him was not a weak lady, but a strong, smart, and aggressive businesswoman. The supplier, afraid of his actions being exposed, not only agreed to refund all the fees but also added 50,000 in compensation and interest. Xiao Yi walked confidently and happily down the street, and even the skies seemed to clear up. Afterwards, Xiao Yi applied for over 100 patents. The whole family moved into a big house. Her sister continued to fight for the company's shares. The radio station manager and her ex-husband became lifelong friends. Xiao Yi began to dedicate herself to giving more people like her the chance to shine. The movie about Xiao Yi's struggle ends here. In such a family environment, she not only didn't give up but also created her own business empire. This movie tells us that when you're not successful, don't always blame your environment. The main thing is whether you have what it takes. Alright, if you want to see more great movie reviews, please follow me. Thank you. Yeah.